15. So this is an extremely informal seminar, and I hope that Kalle will not fire me for making the people attend these kind of seminars. Francesco is a really good friend of mine. We have been friends for a lot of years, more than 15 or 10.
10. Around 10.
And we were colleagues. At a certain point, our paths somehow divided. We were working also in the same company because he wanted to do something more spicy, let's say, and have a life, and then he will talk about that. And he's making a travel around the Scandinavian countries, and I said to him, you should tell your experience to the people, because it's something that is a little bit orthogonal to what we usually do. And you know that we like to have information around all the dimensions, because in this way we will somehow have a better perception of what we have. Of course, like the NSF papers, the opinions of the author do not necessarily respect the opinions of the organizers. So, Francesco, thank you.
So, hi everyone. I start with 2 excuses. The first one is, this one is absolutely the first talk I have in my life. So I'm a little bit nervous, and so just be patient with me, thank you. The second is, I don't have any presentation. I have just 3 pictures to show you, and they're not really related strictly to what I'm saying, but I didn't have time to prepare anything else. So you just have to listen for a while, just listen without having to look. So, let's start. Who am I and what I'm doing here? My name is Francesco Grandis, good friend of Abbiamo, as I said, and I'm traveling. You already seen from the title of this the speech that I'm a nomad worker. And I'm going to share my experience with you. Abbiamo things that are important. They're important to share to other people. I hope so. I really hope so, because I'm through a process in my life that is definitely very important for me. And I really hope that even if I'm not going to tell you any truth, I leave that to religious persons. I'm sharing something that may move something inside you, some reasoning, some thought that could be helpful. I really hope so. So, let's start from the beginning though. I studied as Damiano in electronic engineering. I got my graduation in specialization in control systems, but instead of going on studying more and more, I just decided to take a job, to find a job. And I did. I found a kind of good job. Not extremely good, but it was related to what I studied, and in my country sometimes difficult. The salary was average. Again, in my country it is normal not to have a very good pay for that. I was working on robotic plants. Nothing really sophisticated, because the tool itself, the robot itself, were very old, the hardware was old. But what I was doing was kind of sophisticated, because since the tool was limited by itself, I had to bypass those limits, and it was kind of creative. But then someday I felt that something was wrong. I may tell you many reasons why I quit my job. I got bored. The creative part went away. I was not very well paid for what I thought was my value. And I think that most of you knows this kind of thing quite well. At least a day in your life you thought exactly the same, that you're not doing the right thing. I hope not, but probably it is like this, right? But actually, the real reason why I quit my job was a different one. It was not money, was not... A day woke up, and I was 33 years old. And the night before I was 30. Time was passing so fast. I say, wow, 3 years passed, and what have I done? And I didn't remember, I did have no memories of what I did in the last 3 years, because, of course I have memories of where I was working, all the different plants. I can show you one of the plants. This is a place where I was working. It was kind of funny. Look at the seat. It was what you can call a hot seat. But no, that was actually a funny part. I was working there. So I had memories of these places, but I did have no memories of my life. I did nothing. 3 years has passed. I look at the mirror and I had wrinkles on my skin, new wrinkles. I had gray hair and less hair, of course. So I said, what's happening here? Something wrong. 3 years has passed and they left nothing except wrinkles and this kind of memory. And I start questioning myself and other people. So what do you think? I say, hey, it's like this, man. That's how life it is. But no, it can't be. You told me go to school, I did it. You told me get an education, I did it. You told me get a job, I did it too. You told me make family. Well, I'm a little late on that. But I'm a little late on that, but I'm working. So why am I not happier? That's you remember this? You know this thing? Get a job, get an education, make a career, do a family. You already know this. Some people told you that you have to do this kind of thing. But I was not a bit happier. So I'm in the process. Why I'm not happier? So I started questioning myself. And one day, I remember clearly, I was driving somewhere, I don't exactly remember where, but I remember a song in the radio came and I had to park on the side and start crying with no reason. I say, okay, that's it. Because no money, no career, no job is worth a single tear of sadness with no reason. That's it. And I quit. It was August 2009. It was the beginning of the economic crisis. Back then they were telling us that it was going to last just 6 months and that then we are okay. Now we know that it's not the truth, but back then it was. So quitting a safe job, even if you like this or the salary was not very good, it was crazy. All the people say, what are you doing, man? Just wait 6 months more. No, I didn't wait. And I went against everyone. Even my parents were against me. Well, of course they were caring about my happiness, because if you see that your son is sad, you care. But they were saying, why don't you find another job and maybe a better one? No, I quit everything. I spent all my money on a round the world tour. I packed my backpack. Well, actually I had to buy a backpack because I didn't have one. I had to buy a backpack, put everything in it and travel 6 months around the world and spend all my money in it. Never did something like that. And it's very uncommon for Italian people, because Italian well, we were traveling in the past, but it's a long forgotten past. Now we are tourists. And I've been in England, California, Argentina, Bolivia, Peru, Chile, Easter Island, Hong Kong, Thailand, Japan, China, New Zealand and Australia. 6 months, very, very fast. But I wanted to see as much as possible, very fast. And that was a life-changing experience. That was a life-changing experience, something you remember forever. In my case, you remember forever. Because when you think about what were you doing, what I was doing, they were saying I was crazy, but actually for me later it was crazy what other people were doing. Imagine that. Imagine that you're going to a cell phone. You're going to a cell phone shop, and you decide what cell phone is perfect for you, and you go there and say, and you pay by cash or credit card, whatever, and you pay your cell phone, and the shopkeeper say, okay, bye. What? Where's my cell phone? I'll give you your cell phone in 40 years. What? Excuse me? What are you doing? What are you saying? I pay now. I want it now. Oh no, all the shops do like this. You pay now and you get in 40 years. I don't want my cell phone in 40 years. I want it now. I paid it now. I want it now. My cell phone in 40 years would be obsolete. I will be obsolete in 40 years because that's exactly what people are doing around the world. They are paying now with their life, with their time, with their youth, something that maybe we'll have back in 40 years when you retire. But you will be obsolete by then. Now I'm young, well, relatively young. Now I have some energy, I'm in relatively good shape. Now I want to go to the top of the mountain, and now I can do that now. But in 70, I don't even know if I will be alive in 70. So what I did when I started traveling around the world was exactly that. Taking my life now. Taking my cell phone. That was my cell phone. And at the beginning I felt lonely. I told you that all the people were against me. But I realized later that what I felt was loneliness was actually something completely new to me. It was freedom. It was a complete sense of freedom, because nobody had the power to tell me what to do. I was doing what I wanted to do. And that was incredible. Life-changing, as I told you. I came back something happened to me there. I will tell you about this later. Excuse me a second. I'm shaking. Oh. Something very, very important related to happiness and purpose in life. I will tell you about this a little later. For now, I'll tell you that I came back and and found something that I needed. I had a purpose in life, I had something to follow, and it was the first time, because at the beginning I was following the flow. Get a school, get a vocation, get a job, you know, that's the flow. I was following these people to the massacre. And then I said, okay, no, I'm doing something for myself. And I need a job, of course, because I need some money. But the perfect job for me back then was the nomad working. Well, I was a programmer for robotic plants, this kind of thing. And now I'm still a programmer. Instead of working on plants where I need to be there, I'm just developing web application. Instead of being an employee for an Italian company, I'm a freelancer and I have American customers. A good thing about American customers is that they pay, compared to Italy of course, that they pay much more than Italians. So, I'm basically gaining double. But I think that you guessed by now that I'm not talking about money here. So in fact, instead of working 8, 9, 10 hours a day and gaining double, I just work half and gain exactly the same amount as before. So we are already in the practical bright side of nomad or remote working. You people here, I think, already took good and strong decision in your life. So you know what change can be for you. You are not static people, otherwise you wouldn't be here. Maybe nomad working is not the thing for you, but I don't want to convince you about nomad working. I just want to inspire some reasoning that is behind nomad working. Nomad working for me is just a tool. But if just in case you're interested, let's talk about about nomad working a little bit more. So what are the advantages of nomad working? Well, first, I already told you, you can work for other countries. So you are not limited to your market, and so you can get your money from somewhere else. And why don't I get money from America or Canada or Sweden, of course, Norway, Australia, places where the money is good, and yeah, I go spend them in pesos or in Thailand baht. And that's exactly what I did. After the Round the World tour, I took my laptop with me, and the first experiment was 2 weeks in Tenerife Island. That was good, but it was an experiment. Then 2 months and a half in South America, 1 month in Budapest, 2 months in India, and now three months here in Scandinavia. In the last 3 years, I've been out of home, taking my laptop with me 1 year. That's it, 1/3. That's quite good. If you think that a lot of people stay 11 months and then have to ask for vacation. Ask for vacation. You know what I mean? Well, this is an advantage. I like to travel. Well, there's more a need of traveling. I'll talk about this later. But if you like to travel, that's definitely an advantage. But if you don't like to travel, if you don't like to get your money from a country and spend some other, even though there is some good point in this, because think about what richness is. Richness is not about having lots of money. Richness is about being able to do a lot of things, different things. So basically what I did was exchanging some money, the double I could gain, in exchange for time and freedom. That is richness, because now with my average salary, I can be here. Otherwise I would be at home. But now I'm here, I'm doing something for myself. This talk is important for myself as well. So, do you know how many people are very, very rich and they are still there, attached like a shell to a rock? Think about Berlusconi. He's still there. And he's a billionaire. And he's not leaving. Why don't you take all your money and 20 girls and go in an island? That's not being rich. Rich is have the freedom to do. So for freedom you need time, freedom of movement, and some money, of course. And that's why nomad working is very good for me, and it may be good, even good for you. But let's say that you want to stay in a place, that you have a family, you don't want to move. Of course, cool, very cool. You stay home and you watch your kids grow. How many of you had parents that never been at home? Me, I had a parent. He is a good man, but he had to keep the shop, and he had to stay at the shop. So basically, I lost my father for the first 15 years of my life. That's sad. I don't want my kids to. Well, I don't have kids as far as I know, but but if I had one, I don't want him to wait for me at home. I want to stay with him. And if your family wants to move somewhere for 2 months, you just grab your laptop and go. You don't have to ask your boss for vacation. You just go. That's very good advantages. Let me see if there is another one. No, I think I said everything. Of course, you may discover your own, and as I told you, this talk is not about nomad working. Maybe it suits you, maybe not, so you decide. There are probably neutral sides. I call it neutral because for some people it could be good, for others may be bad. Uncertainty. You never know what happens next. For some people it's bad, for me it's good, so you decide. I'm not telling you anything about it. You decide if uncertainty is good or bad. There is a very, very, very bad side, and to tell you this bad side, I'm telling you a story. I was in Rio de Janeiro, Copacabana. I was in a hostel. I love hostels. You met so many people there, so many different things happens. So I was working there, and I had to deliver every once in a while. I have to deliver. It doesn't happen often, but that time I had. And so since I had a lot of partying the day before, time management is another good thing about nomad working. Since I had a lot of partying the days before, I was a little late with this delivery. So I decided, okay, tonight I'm staying home. It was Wednesday, Thursday night, nothing. But in Rio de Janeiro, every day is a party night. So I was there on my laptop, and on the side of my sides appears 2 pairs of long heels like this, attached to the longest pair of legs I ever seen.
Was we?
German clothes. German clothes. She was a beautiful girl. She actually was of the group of the hostel. I already met her, but we were at the beach. I never seen her so dressed up. I was ready to go out. It was stunning. People, believe me, she was stunning. And say, Francesco, we are going out. Would you love to come with us? No, I'm sorry. I have to work. I'm really, really sorry. Oh, please, do it for me. You don't believe, you cannot realize how much sorry I am, but I'm really, really late. I have to work. Okay. And she went away, and I was looking at her like this.
He's Italian, guys.
Self-discipline is a bitch. That's the only bad side about nomad working. You have to be very disciplined, because if you travel, if you are in places where you can get a lot of distractions, it's really difficult to stay focused. But that's probably the only bad thing I can name of nomad working. And that's more or less everything. I didn't even start the timer actually.
It's okay, but it's 14:50.
How much time do I have?
Up to, you got 40 minutes.
I don't know
and,
a long
some
time.
minutes for questions. So up to 55.
Up to. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, these are the practical sides of nomad working. You may like it, you may not. As I told you, it's not about money. It's not about nomad working. It's about why I'm doing this. You may find it useful or not. So, back to this round the world tour and this life-changing experience. That the nomad working was a consequence of this experience. I was in a meditation retreat in a temple. Before you think, it's not a religious experience, and it's not even about meditation, because I'm very bad at meditating. But that was the environment. I was there. I was there in a very specific condition of mind. I was clear-minded. I was focused in myself. So the meditation retreat was just an excuse for that. And basically what happened is that a guy who was in the same retreat came there, we have a nice conversation, and then he asked me, oh, can I ask you a question? Yeah, sure, why not? What do you think is the purpose of life? Excuse me? Did you just ask me what puzzles thousands of years of philosophers? Like that? Like you want a beer? Yeah, why not? Yes, he did. He asked me, what do you think is the purpose of life? And what happened, to my own very big surprise, is that I answered. Before you get crazy, I'm not telling you what is the purpose of life, like in the movies when they say, oh, the truth is, and then an advertisement block everything. But I discovered something, and that I think is the important thing that I want to share with you. I gave an answer, and I answered to this guy, you know, this question makes no sense now. It makes no sense asking this question now. Why? I need a tool. Comes straight from Damiano's house. Any Italian should have one. Well, you know what is this? It's a bottle opener.
We Britain has got a lot of people drinking a lot. So.
Yeah, so you know you don't need this. So let's do this game. Let's imagine that you never seen kind of thing before. You never know. You don't know the existence of this kind of thing in the world. You are an alien or something like that. And of course you don't know what a cork is, or you don't know the bottle. You don't know anything about it. Just play this game. And I come here like this, and I ask, Damiano, what do you think is the purpose of this thing? And I say, oh, well, how can I know? I don't even have it in my hand. It's covered. So what do? You are reasonable people. You are intelligent people. What do? First, take the tool in my hand. Then unwrap it. No, still no idea. You never seen this kind of thing before. So what do? You start analyzing. You start moving. You start watching, touching. No, it's not supposed to fly. So basically what you're doing is gaining knowledge about this tool, but still it makes no sense because you're missing other piece of information. So you start interacting, I say, tapping around, and things. Nope, I don't, it's too complicated just to make some noise. Must be something else. Maybe you find a glass of water. No, it doesn't, it's not working as a spoon. Well, that's a hint. It's not working as a spoon. So just in case you find another glass with tea or beer, you can avoid that. You already know that it's not working with liquids. So you just interacting, looking for, and then you may find, I don't know, a piece of food. Well, maybe this is a piercing drill. I don't know exactly the term, but piercing, drilling device, whatever. And you can actually push it through the wood. I'm not doing that because otherwise they're going to fire you. But well, that's a hint. This can be a piercing device. Of course, I don't think it's supposed to pierce a window, but it makes sense much more than using it as a spoon. So you use these hints to look for something, and one day on a table you find a cork. Wow, that's perfect. That's perfect. It's perfect shape, perfect material. It fits exactly in here. That's perfect length. Yes, I'm on the right track. Still, what a cork is for? Then, but then you still follow this hint, and one day you may find the bottle with a cork in it, and you see that the bottle neck is perfect for this, and voila, you open the bottle and you drink it, of course. Yeah, then basically you enjoy what you discovered so far. Well, why I'm telling you about this bottle opener? Because when somebody asks you what is the purpose of your life, that is basically asking you what is happiness, because that's something I believe. Purpose in life and happiness are really strong connected, because when you are happy, I think you don't feel like you are losing something. You are fulfilled in some way. That's what I believe. So purpose in life and happiness is strongly related. So somebody asks you what is the purpose of your life or what makes you happy, I say, well, I don't know. I don't know because I don't know myself. Because that day I parked the car and I started crying with no reason. There was something I didn't know about myself. That I can cry for what? I think that most of you doesn't know yourself so good that you know exactly what you think, when, how. No, there is something that you're still missing. So first thing first. Take your life in hand. That's what I did. Unwrap it from preconception, prejudices, from all the things that were taught to you, like you have to go to school, go to education, go to, you know, get rid of everything that doesn't come straight and directly from you. Thus, you can have a clear idea of what's in your hand, your life. But that's not all. You need more information, because you yourself are not an island. You need some interaction with something. You have a purpose. Well, if you think that you have a purpose in life, not everybody agrees with that, but if you think that you have a purpose in your life, there must be something around you that interacts with you. So you just tapping around. No, not working. You start using as a spoon. No, it's not working. Well, what does it mean working or not working in life? Well, in this case, a sentence from Dalai Lama comes in help. I'm not a religious person, but I really think that Dalai Lama is a wise and good person. I don't think about politics, religion here. Just as a person, as a man, I think he's a good guy. I have a sentence from him in the back of the t-shirt. He said a very simple thing. To be happy in life, you need to detect the things that make you happy on the long term and grow them. And detect that they makes you unhappy in the long term and push them away. It's four steps. Basically, detection and action. What I'm doing here is exactly that, suggesting detection. Going around and detect the thing that works or doesn't work. That means something makes you happy or unhappy. Even smaller thing. I'm happy having a walk in the park Sunday morning. Okay, do it, and do it every Sunday morning. Because it makes you happy in the long term. But then, after finding these hints, you need to act. You need to follow them. Me, I always knew that I loved nature, and I ended up working in factories. And I was stressed and sick. Big surprise. I was deliberately ignoring a hint of my life, because that's what society normally do to you. They teach you some common rules that may or may not apply to yourself, but it's their generic instruction for generical tools. You are not generical tools. Not all of you is different. You are not generical. So you need specific instructions, and you have to find them for yourself. So if you're should have chosen another word, ignoring your hints, you are harming yourself. So detection and action. How do you know if something is good for you? Gut feeling or instinct, call it whatever you want. The guts always tell you if you're fine or not, if you're happy or not. Just so you use your guts as a sensor and your reasoning as a way of acting and following. So I know that I love nature, then okay, I have to spend most of the year in the nature and not in plants. And that's why I found this kind of place. That was another office. After around the world, this is in Hostel, Patagonia. And this is in Sweden. That's my office now in this tour. And you can see this car parked outside. I was working there. And no surprise, I was much happier to work there than in the factory before. I am following my hints. And my hope is that doing this systematically, I will find my cork. And then I will find my bottle. And then I can open my bottle. So when I would be done with all this process, I would have discovered my purpose in life. So the question is already answered. That's why asking yourself that question 3 years ago does make no sense, because you don't have information. So how is related this to nomad working? That's a choice of mine. I like to travel, but I also think that traveling is a perfect way to go into unpredictable things. And I think all of you knows that in an unpredictable system, measure, or whatever, there are a lot of information. While if a signal is completely predictable, there is no new information for you. Is it true? So in a completely predictable day or very predictable day, there is not much you can learn. So if you're doing every day all the same, there is not much for you to learn. While if you're traveling, that's a choice. There are other choices. But if you travel, you put yourself in very unpredictable situation. This talk was unpredictable to me. So I'm learning a lot even now. This could have been unpredictable for you as well. So you're learning as well. You may like it or not, your choice. But that definitely is some new information for you. So traveling is a very effective way of putting myself into unpredictable situation, and I'm basically tapping my bottle opener faster. No pun intended. Well, well sort of. I'm basically gaining information faster, following hints, because I believe that this will lead me ultimately to the greatest good of all. It is my purpose in life and my happiness. Excuse me a second. Now, we are at the conclusion now. This is not a truth. This is my truth. I share it with you because I really, really, really hope that you find something in it of value that you can use for your life. Just in case it happened, I tell you that most of the time that I tell this kind of story or I tell my story to other people, one of the words that come up the most is courage, braveness. To be brave. They say, oh yeah, you were so brave to do something like that. I don't have your courage to quit. The courage, always the same word. And I think, no, it's not about courage. This is not courage at all. I told you, one day I woke up and 3 years passed and I had wrinkles on my skin, white hair, less hair, no memories. I was stuck in a prison that started Monday morning and then finished on Friday night, a Monday morning that comes too soon, and a Friday night that comes so late. And from Friday night to Monday morning, you have to have fun because you don't have any other choice. You work 11 months of your life and then you have to ask humbly for vacation that can be even refused. I was terrified by that. It was a prison. The life was passing, slipping through my fingers like sand. You cannot take back sand when it's fallen. You cannot take it back. I was terrified, petrified by fear. So, yeah, you may say that cutting everything, you did some already, cut everything with the past and do something completely different. You need some courage. Yeah, you may need some. But I tell you, you need more courage to stay exactly where you are when you know that you're not happy there. You need a lot of courage for that. I didn't have it. So it's not about being brave for facing the unknown. It's about being afraid for what you already know perfectly. So if something moves inside you because of what I said, and I really hope, and you are thinking maybe, oh, I don't have the courage of this man. Please, don't ask yourself if you are brave enough. Ask yourself if you are afraid enough. Thank you.